Hello and welcome to the Curious Life podcast. My name is Yana Firestone and I am so excited to welcome Clayton Farris to the show all the way from LA. Welcome.
Thank you, Yana. So glad to be here. It's good to connect.
It's so good.
It's the morning for you. It's the afternoon for me.
Yes.
Here we are.
So we'll be in varying degrees of, cognitive function. I might take a little bit to warm up. You might be winding down, but, we'll meet in the middle somewhere.
I love that.
So we were chatting a little bit before about how big of a fan I am of yours. I didn't really tell you how much of a fan I am. I just love your work. I love what you're putting out there on social media. You are hilarious, and people will have heard already the intro that I did up front, which we record separately. So people will know a little bit about your bio already, but I think many of us found you through the content that you've been putting out on your social media. And I know you didn't just drop out of nowhere. You have been working at this for a long time in all different ways. And I think you and I are about the same vintage, north of 40, have had many lives already at this stage. Yeah. And one of the things I love about you is that you did start working in this industry, or at least considering a career in this industry, a little bit later than some people might traditionally kind of think to drop everything and move to LA and start this life. So there are so many questions, but why don't we kind of like rewind a little bit? And how did Clayton Farris become so assured and have so much belief in himself to just go after what he has inside?
Oh, I mean, that's honestly such a big question, because it's weird, because you can only look at where you are in the moment and then kind of realize what you've done and the road you've taken to get there. But I think, just for me as a creator, which is what I kind of consider myself, I mean, I don't know where it came from. I have this, I'm one of those people that kind of has insane amount of drive, but it's almost like I don't even recognize it as that, because I kind of think I'm lazy.
Interesting.
And so people will be like, people will always say, like, you're very prolific with like the stuff you put out. And I'm like, I could be doing more. So, I mean, I don't know. I think really what happened for me is I really fell in love at a young age with the creative process and with collaboration with people. I mean, that's really the thing that hooked me into being an actor. Like you mentioned that you used to do like theater and when you were young. And I mean, I was the same way. Like the second I found kind of theater and the process of putting together a play, that's when I was just like, oh, this is kind of like the feeling that I want to chase forever. And, during high school, I got the opportunity to go kind of to a neighboring town. I grew up in Dallas, Texas, but go to like one of the smaller towns, like a suburb, where there was like this theater where all the kids from around the other little cities would come, all the really talented kids would come there and like put on these plays that were all children doing them, like, up to 18, but they were just like good. And, that's something about that experience and kind of getting there when I was maybe 16 and kind of realizing like, oh, this is 100%. These are my people. This is where I'm supposed to be. And this feeling of connection and creation and working together to create something beautiful is the feeling that I will chase probably forever. And so that's really what started everything, I guess. And the rest is just, I don't know. I mean, I'm still on a journey. Like, that's the cool part about acting, is like, it truly is. And it's so cliche, but it truly is a journey. And like, luckily it's a journey that doesn't end, because, you can play roles of all ages. But I don't know. Is that a good place to start.
Yeah, because I find this so interesting and completely, from a selfish point of view. Like I know exactly what you're talking about when you talk about the collaboration and the creative process of being in a show together. And that was always so exciting for me. And I always loved singing and loved performing, but there was always something inside of me that like I couldn't shake that self-consciousness that is there when you've got to get up and do something. Put me on stage when we know what we're doing. I'm so happy on the stage, but like take me to the acting class and I after finishing school I went and I studied musical theater, and the crawling around on the floor and being different animals and being a tree. I could never get outside of my
That's self-judgment.
self-awareness. Yes, the
Yeah.
judgment. So I look at people like you seem to be so confidently and comfortably just chasing your passion and following that internal drive to create. And I'm just in total admiration because that's really a special thing to be able to take all of that away and just kind of throw yourself into things.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, thank you for saying that. I don't like I am very bad at kind of like not letting myself get to give myself too much credit or like that sort of thing. So I don't want to pretend that I think I'm like this, like I'm not Robin Williams,
I mean, you're
but
close.
I think that I do put a sense, there's always been a sense of, like I do this. You have to do it with bigger purpose than just yourself or just like trying to be famous or just for money or whatever it is. It's
Mhm.
like I like to light people up and I like to make people laugh. And I've always wanted to do that just in my small circle.
Mm.
And I think that I take that same energy into a bigger audience. And I just say to myself, I'm like, what can I do to like light people up? What can I do to spread joy? What can I do? I mean, I really do that. Like pretty much, it's part of my morning thing of just like, sorry, I'm like emotional because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm in a therapy session.
This is great. Listen, I'm trained. I have a master's. We're fine.
But it's like how lucky that I get to like make people laugh every day.
Totally. And you do it in such a beautiful way. There are so many different types of comedy, and your comedy, I think, can reach everybody. Some comedy it kind of excludes some audiences, and it's
Yeah,
there are some people even that I'm a fan of that I think, oh, like this is funny, but this is not great for women, or this is not great for whoever.
yeah,
And you just seem to have just such a beautiful, warm, open. Like I've showed my kids some of your videos and they're laughing. They barely get why they're laughing, but there's just
right,
something infectious and contagious about it. There's a
yeah.
lightness.
I mean, I don't think it's smart in comedy to really pick on people or put separation up. And I think that's that idea of like punching down. Like you
Yeah.
never want to punch down. You never want to pick on the little guy. You never, in even the characters, like as silly as it is, just with like these funny characters that I make. It's like I don't want to, I'm not making fun of these people. I'm
Mm.
just trying to like, just like, I'm trying to earnestly embody them and let it speak for itself
Yeah.
in a way, like I'm
Yeah.
not there to pick, but then of course there's a lot, I'm kind of poking fun at like the upper class or like
Hmm.
I like to poke fun at rich people and that sort of thing. So I think there's a punching up
Yeah.
involved. So
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone everyone can relate because so few
Totally.
people are in the 1%.
Yeah. Well, that's right. But I think that's what I would assume that even the 1% would look at that and find it funny, because even the way that and we're talking about that rich couple that you do on social media, that even that it's not mean. It's just gorgeous. Like it's so cute and funny. It's not like it's not nasty.
Yeah, and I think that too, and like this is the type of work I like to do as an actor. It's like really, it's like what can you find that's likable about these people?
Mm.
And I don't know what that is. I think that that's just inherent in a performer to provide that sort of thing. But it's like the yes and of it all, like the yes
Mm.
and that you use in improv. It's just kind of like what people love about the rich couple is that it's a supportive couple that cares about each other. And
Yeah.
it's two people that really support each other and love each other. And
Yeah.
they're in a setting that's kind of familiar to people to be yelling at each other or kind of like catty, like if you think about Real Housewives or whatever.
Yes.
So it's this funny thing to see these rich people really in love and just living their lives and supporting each other. I think it's
Yeah.
like I think like people, you know, like will say comments will be like, like kill all billionaires except these people. Like,
Yes. It's so true. They're so aligned and they are just no matter what, like we're sliding down the banister. Okay, sweetie, I'll get my silk pants. I'll get my sliding pants or like whatever Sebastian and the twins are needing from school. They're
right.
on the same page all the time and it's
But
silly and ridiculous, but it's gorgeous.
and again, but that is about, a big part of that is about the collaboration and who you're working with. And I think that um my one of my creative partners, Aliki, who I work with a lot, she has such a natural light, bright energy. And she, so we meet each other there. So
Mm.
that's what kind of like comes out of that with our content. It's not coming from a negative place or a dark place. Like we're truly having so much fun doing it. Like it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, if I could do the rich couple forever or like some of our characters, like I would and I will. Like that's the goal,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
we need a like a Tracy Ullman kind of series with you guys
that's
and
what I
all of
want.
your characters. Yeah. Where do we sign? How do we make this happen?
I know. We're just kind of doing it ourselves, like
Yeah.
we're trying, we're like, that's our next goal is to kind of like make something that's because everyone's always like, you need a TV show or you need a show. And I'm like, well, like, what we post on TikTok and Instagram, that is the show. Like that's the show.
Yeah.
And it's just in a different format. But,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
But once a
yeah,
week, Clayton, yeah, we are screaming for more. But listen, we've skipped many years. We
yeah,
went from, this is the kid who's working on, community theater and working with other teenagers and getting the itch. And then you didn't move to LA till you were 28. So what happened in that 10-year period before you
so,
got to LA?
I mean, like before I got to LA, I mean, I think it was just kind of, um, just traditional. Like I come from a family that's very loving, very supportive, like didn't have a lot of money, but didn't like no one really went to college in my family. Like I was one of the first persons to go to college, and that came from so what that means is no one really knew what to do with going to college. Like what would like we were all excited, like, yeah, I'm going to college, but like we didn't know, I don't know what to do with that.
Mm.
So there was really no goal, to be honest. It was just like go to college. My parents were very supportive, paid for me to go to college, and we're just kind of like, you do your thing. So I studied theater, but I didn't even really go to like a hardcore like acting conservatory or a theater school. It was more like a business school that had a small arts program. So actually my college studies are in like painting and poetry and like more like the
Yeah.
humanities, if you will.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'd never like, and I was just doing theater at school and I was doing regional theater around town and just like, kind of like, just like learning, figuring it out. And like, I booked some cool, I guess, like lead roles in like the local Dallas area. But I remember like some of the reviews were always like, I didn't have any true real training. I just had like a little natural talent. But sometimes like if I played like a dramatic role, I was like pushing too hard or like I didn't know fully what I was doing. And when I graduated from high school or from college, I just kind of got a job working in like the hotel business in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess this is what I'm going to do. Like, I wasn't like, I just didn't know
Yeah.
because no one gave me that track of like, you go to college, you move to New York or you move to LA and you kind of just like do that.
Yeah.
I just didn't have that like knowledge. I
Yeah.
didn't know. So I was working in the hotel business and kind of like, like Dallas is fine, but I never felt like I really fit in there fully. Like I did have a lot of drive and a lot of energy that I wasn't kind of putting in the right place. So I was probably drinking way more than I should and like not really using my time that wisely, just kind of partying.
But also,
And
you're doing your 20s, you know.
yeah, yeah, like not a too much, like not a problematic amount, but just like
Yeah.
partying in my 20s with no real drive.
Yeah.
And then like the recession here in the States happened like in 2008 and I got laid off from my job at this hotel where I was like working in like marketing and sales. And one of my clients at the hotel was the AFI Film Festival, which is like this big film festival here in LA. And there's one that was in Dallas at the time. And so I remember I had connected with one of the people at the festival. And literally, I just reached out to her one day and I was after I got laid off. And I was just kind of like, I remember you saying there's like a festival in LA. Like, any chance that you would ever like let me come just like check work there for maybe a little bit, thinking that I was going to come to LA for like a summer. And she was basically like, well, in a week this festival starts. If you want to come out, I can give you a job in like the ticketing booth. And I was like, I'm going. I'm going to go just for the summer.
Yeah.
And I had a house in Dallas. I had like
Wow.
what I thought was like a life there. And I just sold all my furniture and I just like got in my car and I drove to LA and I was like, I'm going to LA for the summer. I'll be back.
Yeah.
And right before I had done that, I remember I did this thing in Dallas called the 48-hour film festival. And it was just, and like, I had never, like a friend of mine that was more into film was like, do you want to do this with me? And I was like, sure. And we made this like crazy weird movie. I wrote it and I got to play this crazy character. And I had not done a lot of film stuff. I had only been doing theater. And we won like we won this film festival in Dallas. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. And for something about that kind of sent me away with like this energy of like, I want to just be like a creator. I love this creative energy. And so I moved out here for just to work in the summer, but I stayed and I've been out here almost 17 years.
Wow. Wow. So, was there anything in you when you were driving away for the first time where you were telling everyone, I'm just going for the summer? Was there a little knowing or a little dream in you that was like, I might actually not come back?
There was a part of me that always wanted to be an actor since I was a kid and always wanted to do that sort of thing. And I mean, I think I always like had dreams of like maybe I can because when you're young like that and you're like there it's not like being an actor wasn't part of my like vision. It just I didn't know how to access it. So I had
Mm.
the desire. I just never had anything that made sense. So I don't know. I mean, I think part of me was maybe like when you're that age, you're just kind of like the dream is to be a working actor and that's it. Maybe like do some commercials or like you don't really know what the dream is. But I got to be honest, I don't really think I was like that confident at the time
Okay.
thinking that this is all going to work out. I was kind of just like what I was brave enough to do is pick up everything and leave
Mm-hmm.
without knowing. And I think that was the part that kind of stands out as like notable, that I was just like, you know what, I'm just going. I have nothing to lose. Like
Yeah.
I'm just losing because I was also kind of depressed and down being in Dallas. And I was like, I got to get out of here. And I can go I can come back if I have to, but I just did it. But I remember on the way, I had this very vivid like image. I was at like a gas station or something in Arizona, which is on the way to LA. And there was like front page of like some newspaper was like YouTube becoming a place for creators to like make a living, or like what like that was just
Mm,
starting.
yeah.
And so I think that there was something there where that kind of implanted this thing of like being a creator or using these new tools. Like I mean, this is like I didn't even have an iPhone whenever I moved to LA. Like there were none of these things were there. I had like a little flip camera,
Yeah.
and something about seeing that just was like, okay, this is a potential creativity. Being a creator is going to be part of your path, and it was just kind of embedded in me from that one moment. It like
Mm.
stands out in my head.
That's pretty amazing because
Yeah,
most people would have looked at that and been like, what's that about? What does that mean?
yeah,
YouTube, creating videos, what is that? No one would have, not many people would have connected to that in the way that you did.
yeah. And I was fresh off that kind of like film festival thing that gave me that like creative energy and creative feeling of making something myself.
Yeah.
And what it really did for me is go, okay, whatever happens in LA, I always will have this ability to make something myself if I want to, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But I find that really interesting because I think there are a lot of really creatively frustrated people walking around on this earth that have talent, have a yearning to make something. And you know what that feeling is when you've got like something like I want to do something here, but maybe you can't quite like just can't quite reach it. You don't know exactly what it is, but you just know you've got all of this, stuff inside that you want to do something with. And there's a huge difference between the people that have that inside and the people that actually can then make something happen and actually
Right.
do something with it. So I find that really interesting that, particularly because you're talking about having been in a place where you're feeling low and, that's like the worst possible situation for a creative person. How do you switch on and tap in and create when you're feeling, unless you're writing depressing love songs or
Yeah.
something? That's a great place to be down. But when you're trying to create and make something that requires energy, that's a big shift. So I wonder when that changed for you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it was a little bit of the like it just like I knew that I wanted to do characters and do like I knew that that was part of like that's what I like to do, and I knew that I was an actor. And I don't know, it's like it's so specific to acting and creative and social media. Like it all kind of worked out for me because it was just about because pre-phone, pre-social media, I was making these little web series. I was just making stuff. I was just like, hey, film this for me. Hey, like, like, and a lot of it was really bad, but it was just that drive of making
Mm,
stuff. And just that the thing that I learned early on, especially about if I was going to be part of this acting business and this Hollywood thing, is like you can't sit around and wait for other people. And in the beginning, it wasn't even about like, oh, this, I'm going to make something so I can show someone. It was just like, what am I going to do with my time and what am I going to do with my creative energy while I'm waiting? Like, why,
mm,
like, and like that, so that's what it was. It was more like it was filling up my tank when I wasn't, because I had to fill up my own tank. There was no other option.
yeah.
Like, there was no other option. And then to this day, I just think it's like sometimes making your own stuff is better than being in a big movie. Like
Mm,
it gives you so much more.
yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but what it is I think, and I'm sorry I'm like so scatterbrained,
not
but
at
it's
all.
like it's really like I believe that we all have a voice in our head that is kind of that creative voice that is telling you exactly what you should be making and exactly what you should be doing. For a lot of people, it's like this voice that's like, oh my God, wouldn't it be funny if like two people were at a restaurant and they were like, couldn't, like scenarios.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it, because people pitch me ideas all the time. I know that that's how people's minds work. It's like, wouldn't it be funny if I played this like acting teacher that was like rude to the students? This is the thing in our heads. Wouldn't this be great? And I'm sure for musicians, it's like they're hearing a song or like whatever. It's like and your job as a creative person is to just really like swat away everything else and tap into what that voice is and just kind of like listen to it. And it's almost like there's not a lot of times where I sit down and I'm like, what am I gonna do today? What am I gonna make today? It's like, what is this nagging thing that I've been thinking about for the past couple weeks? And how am I going to actually take it from my brain and put it like on paper and make it? And I don't think I'm the only person that has that. I think that that's a human natural thing. I think we all have that. I think some of us just listen to it more than others.
Totally. And I think that anyone listening in any industry can relate to that. I think everybody has been in a situation where they feel pulled to be doing something else. There's like a calling for something else, but sometimes it's a little whisper, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's like time to roll. We got to do this
Yeah.
now. And a lot of the time you would look at the things, like using your story as an example. Well, I've got a house, I got all my furniture, my life is here in Dallas. I could go and like sell tickets at a festival for a couple of weeks, but then like I've like let all my responsibilities, and then what? Nah, too hard, can't do it. So I'll
Right.
just like find another job here in Dallas, and there'll always be that nagging little voice inside of me that the what if.
Yeah. And I think that I had just gotten to a point where I was kind of fed up and I was just like, no, like you got to go. And but again, it's like that. It's that kind of like pot. Like I'm very optimistic. I lost my job. I got laid off, and I truly moved to LA with like $500 and a tube of chapstick. It's not like I moved out here
Yeah.
like ready to go. Truthfully, and I mean I was 28's older, but I was also just like I'm have nothing to lose right now, and I realized that like like 2008, so many people lost money, lost jobs, lost all of their security. I was kind of just like, oh wait, there's really no security. Like, why not go after your dream?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that I just have that the one other thing that some people might have that I didn't have is I don't have this pressure to be a certain way. I don't feel that pressure of like, like I never felt the pressure of like, you got to get married by this age, you got to have kids by this age, you got to do this, you got to do this. My parents were blindly supportive, and my mom's advice is like, you better spend your money now, you're gonna die soon. So like
Brilliant.
I just had a lot of faith that like something will work out, and if not, at least I'm having the best time and being creative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you? I love that, and I love the sound of your mum. My God, I hope I can be that supportive to my kids and just be like, just go for it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of damage gets done by parents who have expectations of their kids, and there are so many people that are lawyers and miserable because that was what was expected in their family.
Yeah.
And how sad we could be missing out on incredible contributions to the world in other ways that are just being stifled by expectations from other people in their
Yeah.
lives.
And it's that thing about like experiences, like when you grow, like my parents grew up with not a lot of money. It's not like, I'm not going to claim that they're like the poorest people on earth, but it's not like when you grow up a certain way, it's like experiences are way more valuable than like money or having things or whatever. So it's to this day, it's like I value the experiences more than I value the other things, and
Yeah.
I prioritize those things, and that ends up like paying me back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's something to be said as well for not having a safety net and having to make things happen for you. You're not just sitting back and thinking, oh, well, I'll be fine because, one
Yeah.
day there'll be money. And,
Right.
you
Yeah,
you're,
but but also it's like I also, because I moved to LA a little bit later, and my kind of like training wasn't really training, and I didn't get taught that there's a path or anything like that. When I got to LA, I was like, oh, I have this whole industry, whole business, whole everything to learn, boots on the ground right now. And that really like fascinated me and kept me kind of like going.
So how did you do it? You hit the ground, you're at the film festival, and that's like your only in to anything, right?
Yeah. I mean, what like I think it's really just like I I did it when I got here. I was like, the only thing I know how to do is audition for a play. And so I got here. It was a funny story because I went to see a friend that I knew from Dallas way back when, who lived in LA, and he was part of this group called Musical Theater Los Angeles. And in my head, when I was in Dallas, I was like, "You're part of Musical Theater of Los Angeles," thinking it was
Just
like
like,
the biggest thing in the world.
yeah.
And like I get here and I realize like, oh, it's just like a small little theater company that's putting on their own plays. And I went to see a play that night, and I went up to the producer, and I was like, I just moved here and I don't know. I know this is a crazy ask, but if there's any way I could audition for your next play, I would be so honored. I will sweep the floors. I will do whatever you need. And like the next day, she's like, "Do you want to be in? Do you want? We're doing Ragtime. Do you want to be in it?" Like not like
Oh my
no audition.
God.
And so I was just like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I just jumped immediately into this play, and so I was doing the film festivals during the day. I was working. I was doing like theater at night, and I just put myself in the action that I could
Wow.
see around me, and
Yeah.
just started meeting people and becoming just like figuring it out, like really just figuring out a new, like that beginner mindset that I like
Mm.
always wish I still had and always go back to when I can. I'm like, okay, today I'm going to pretend like I know nothing, and like let that be where I start from today. And
Amazing.
that beginner mindset and just meeting people, and just you got to put yourself into positions to where opportunity can come to you. Like opportunity is not going to come to you if you're not setting yourself up for opportunity to come to you. And like I still stand by that like to this day. And being in this play is this one guy that saw me working really hard was like, "Hey, I know you just moved here. You're working really hard. I'm moving. I'd love to introduce you to my agent." So he introduced me to his agent. I got like a commercial agent, and then I started going on commercial auditions. I got a call back for the first one I went on, and I was like, "Oh my god!" That's when I became obsessed with validation.
Mm.
There's
What
a
was
whole separate,
happening?
there's a whole separate like there's two things happening when you're a creator and actor. There's a validation component and like a craft component, and
Mm.
they're kind of like side by side.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean honestly, I that like it's really not an interesting story. I came out here and I struggled for years. I tried to figure it out. I booked little commercials here and there. I couldn't break into TV or movies to save my life, and I bounced around different jobs, but I was so just like lit up by all these new experiences and knowing that I had kind of found the passion. Like I had the talk with my parents of like, "Hey, you guys, I'm doing it. I'm gonna like pursue acting as like my thing," and they were 100% supportive. And I just did it. And I mean, it wasn't until Vine came along, and I had this girl I was hanging out with that was like, "We should start making Vines." And I was like, "I don't think that Vine is for me. I'm an actor. Like, it's not the right thing." And then slowly we just started making these videos together, all out of fun, all out of just like, like something we did together as friends. And those started to take off. And that's at that when the start of like the creator economy kind of happened, and whenever social media became a thing and influencers became a thing, and that's when I kind of like veered off into that path.
Yeah. That's really interesting that you called, your initial thoughts were like, no, I'm an actor, you know, like an actor.
Right.
And, I think a lot of people have this kind of block when we think we're supposed to be one thing and there's one lane, and that is just so limiting, and that's what keeps us stuck in those places where we're not happy and we're not, tapping into that part of us that is like, there is something else. I am meant to be doing something else, because we believe that little voice that says, no, 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 this is my thing over here. And like, look what
Yeah.
happened. You opened yourself up to opportunity, and
Right.
you're in movies. You're in like, you're doing the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's like the unique thing in like what I hope that is useful about this conversation is just like truly your path is not the path you think it's going to be. Like it's it doesn't make sense, but you just go with the joy, like follow the joy, follow the like follow the stuff that lights you up and makes you happy, and just like learn. Like it's just all about learning. And like,
Mm.
because I still go to acting class, and people are like, why would you go to acting class? And I'm like, because it's my passion. I love it. Like, why wouldn't I go to acting class?
Yeah.
It's yeah, but it's really just like noticing opportunity around you and being a inquisitive, open, kind person, and letting those, and like taking the opportunities when they come, and also setting yourself up to be useful. Like the amount of times I've worked for free and did things for free, and like, like just kind of like volunteered to do stuff, or like I did student films. I've done all that stuff,
Yeah.
and it's kind of all culminated to like a mediocre career.
No, I feel like, your career is well and truly taking off, but I feel like it's on the ascent. Like there's just more and more and more to come, you know. And
Yeah,
I love that it's all come from saying yes and giving yourself the chance to just be doing things, which leads to meeting people and collaborating and connecting, and that energy just continuing to grow.
yeah. And I'm not like, I will say there's always been a part of me that's like, how am I gonna, I want to think about my career, and I want to think about my future. And of course, I'm thinking about money and stuff like that because I live in LA. But that's never been my like main motivator for these things. It's always been about creativity first. And it's always been about kind of like defining my own voice and like my own authenticity and who I am, and doubling down on that. And then actually people coming to me to be like, this is what we want, what you're selling, as opposed to me being like, give me like,
Mm.
as instead of coming from like a desperate place of like, I need this, or can you do this for me? It's kind of like people see that I'm creating my own thing, doing my own thing. And that is, I guess people see that and want to also, they see me as a collaborator, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
when I show up on jobs or projects, it's like I show up as a collaborator, not as like just the actor that like stays over there. It's like I'm part of all of it.
Yeah. So that's part of keeping that beginner mindset, isn't it? And just being open to learning and doing everything and not being above anything or feeling
Yes.
too small for anything. And, just being open leads
Like,
to.
yeah, truly. And like I think that, I mean, I didn't have the luxury, I guess, of moving to LA as like a young person to really be like, "Hey, can I be like your intern?" Like I was an
Yeah.
adult male when I got here,
Yeah.
but I still was like, I still had to be like, "Can I learn? Can I be part of this? Can I help?"
Yeah.
And that's, like luckily I fell in love with the business of acting and like Hollywood. I like all of the like, I like the climb. I like everyone having their unique story. And then it wasn't until like maybe 8 years ago, maybe a year, 9 years ago, something like that, that I really found an acting studio and really found my kind of like style of acting and where got better as an actor. And that was like,
Mm.
I was already in my mid to late 30s when that happened. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, if I would have just stuck with the training I had at my college like 20 years ago, that would never have serviced me and made me like good enough to be in bigger projects and like act opposite like, well-known
Yeah.
incredible actors.
You can drop
That
a few names. It's okay.
well, that's just like you have to like I have
Yeah.
to stay in the training. I have to stay in the muck
Yeah.
to feel, and that's the other thing about being a creator is like when you get into that energy of creating all the time, you're not waiting for some like I'll get an audition sometimes and I'm like, oh shit, I have an audition. I'm shooting this thing tomorrow. Or like it's I'm not desperate for things coming my way because I have a full creative life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean that is just so appealing to me as someone who, I've got all of that creative juice inside, but I'm often frustrated by it and I'm throwing it at every kind of different thing and it's, coming out in different ways. But I admire that so much in you that you are just like all in, this is what I'm doing, and it's paying dividends.
But I do have a question for you because I feel lucky because I'm like, okay, I have this urge inside me to be
Mm.
creative. And so I get to be a writer and an actor, like, and
Yeah.
like a content creator. There's very much like a one-to-one thing. So am curious how when someone is not, pursuing a true creative path like that, or like wants to be an actor or wants to be one of the creative fields, how you can access your creativity with the same sort of skills that
Yeah.
I've used as a creative.
Well, that's a great question. Uh-oh, it's getting a bit hot in here. Um, well, I write books,
Right.
right? Um, I find this kind of work to be a little bit of a creative fulfiller because I get to meet people like you and have creative conversations. And,
Mhm.
I don't come in here with a set of questions and it's very formal and it's, I'm like, let's go where the conversation takes us. Where's the energy going? And I like to connect with people kind of in an authentic way.
Yeah.
Um, I mean this is probably going to sound a bit weird now, but I my whole life I have been one of those people that does like ridiculous accents and characters and things, and everyone in my life, I mean we used to like go to the bar and my friends would sit there going, okay, now be an Irish person, now be Scottish, now be Chinese, now be
And
Indian, no,
and yeah, and
you
like
know.
whenever you got on the podcast, you were in your costume.
Yes.
But I think that's the interesting thing. What you're saying is it's like what the I think what creativity is just like it's kind of figuring it out in the moment and letting play and letting the unknown be part of like the process. And I think that
Yeah.
you can do that with any sort of field. Is just
Yeah.
like is the creative is like creating. So it's like whatever the alchemy is with someone else, like that's what it is. And so it's just kind of like it's going off this path that everyone thinks that they have to be on, and like everyone has a certain path and everything's supposed to be done a certain way. And I think for me, even when it's not about acting or writing or whatever, I'm always coming at things with a creative mindset. Not to say I'm
Yeah.
better than someone. I'm just saying like I'm like what's the unique way that we can like do this thing?
Yes, I totally take your point. And I think that's right. Like when I'm doing workshops or keynote speaking, that sort of thing, that putting that together for the client is really exciting because I'm creating something and maybe there's like a theme that they want me to talk about, but then I can bring anything I want to that, presentation. And so I'm creating something that's not the same as what you're doing. And it's
Right.
not entertainment in that way, but I'm trying to find ways to bring my experience and background and, natural desire to be a little bit funny and relatable to a serious thing. So you're right. I'm probably tapping in to the creative juices just in a completely different way.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think that like everyone has the opportunity to be creative. It doesn't just have to be in like the creative field. I think that we,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. And I think, when I think about all the people I know, you know, who are not in the industry in any way whatsoever, someone who I think is an amazing parent, who is so creative and playful and knows exactly how to just be all the things that their kids need. And that's creativity in a completely different way.
yeah,
So it's absolutely, yeah, this creativity is not just for the creatives.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, you've got some amazing characters. We
Hmm.
know, I mean, the ones we know from social media, the rich couple who, I mean, I just obviously adore. The all the characters you do with Aliki, I just think are just fantastic. You've got corporate breakups from the 80s,
Hmm.
the 90s, hilarious. But also you do some live shows, the frequent floaters, and I've seen some clips of that. And basically you and your, you know, partner
Yeah.
are these elderly cruise goers, and it seems like it's a bit of a song and dance show. So where did that come from?
So I think that that part of me is like, like deep down, I feel like I'm a song and dance man. Like if I was born in like the 50s, I would have been like a crooner or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
or like Broadway or something like, so, um, honestly, like Laura and I, my partner, she's a musical theater person and writes musicals. And I grew up like mostly what I started doing was like musical theater. And that's where I really fell in love with like performance and getting a group together to make something. And so it's just been a part of me. And I've always just had a dream of like kind of like a variety show or a stage act or whatever. And again, this idea of like opportunity and like how you can like grab opportunity when it's there. A friend of mine is a comedian, a well-known comedian, and she was kind of telling me about this cruise that she was doing. She's like, I'm doing a cruise that's going to be like all her fans. And literally I was just like, well, Laura and I have an act that we do that's basically like a cruise couple. And she was like, you do? And I was like, yeah. And cut to like the next few days, she's like, do you guys want to do this on the show or on the cruise? And we were like, yeah. We didn't have like an act or a show or anything. But I knew it would be like, I knew what it was immediately. I was like, we will play an old couple that's been on a cruise ship for 50 years and we'll just like do that. And so we did it on the cruise, and we kind of like worked with a music director, and we just kind of developed this like loose story that was about this couple that just like is madly in love, but has all these issues. They're swingers. They're all the tropes that you like might find on a cruise ship. And
Yeah.
we did it on the cruise, and we only did 2 shows, but it was like a hit and people loved it. And we just had a blast doing it. And so when we got back to LA, we were like, we have to do this again. So again, we booked a show at a theater, and we didn't have a show. We just booked because it was more of just like a musical review type thing. But we were like, let's book a show. And then so we had a date, and we were like, okay, now we have to like develop a show. And we just did the work to develop the show. Like I know that
Amazing.
it's just like we just put in the time, and we were like, what would this be? And it's just trusting your instinct with that stuff. It's like, I think we know what things, I think creative people, what it should be. You're like, I know what this should be. I have to figure out how to access what it should be. And it's all kind of floating up here around you. You're just like, how can I like access it? It's all there. How can I like pull it down to like earth?
Yes. Yes. Well, you seem to be doing that extremely well. I think we need to get that show here to Australia. That's for
You
sure.
should.
Yes. Again, another petition we need to start because, there's a few.
Yeah.
Um, so you're doing live shows, you're making your own content. You have been a new movie has just come out called Weapons,
Hmm.
which you are in. Do you want to
Hmm.
tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, I mean, so Weapons is the number one movie in the world right now. and it actually is from this director, Zach Kreger, who used to be a comedy person, very big in the comedy world, and then he started making horror movies. And years ago, or like maybe 2 years ago, I saw Barbarian, and which was his first movie, and it really stood out to me as like a fresh, fascinating, and just like amazing movie because it's a horror movie, but it takes all these twists and turns. It's like a unique, fresh take on horror and comedy and all these things. And I kind of had this moment afterwards where I was like, I just kind of proclaimed like I want to be in this guy's next movie. And I was not getting a lot of auditions or anything at the time. Like this was, I'm in a different field. Like I wasn't getting things coming my way.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the blue, I got like an offer for this movie that came my way. And so, yeah, so I went and I shot this incredible movie opposite Benedict Wong and Amy Madigan, these amazing actors. And come to find out, the way that I got that is, well, you know what, to be honest, I still don't know how. I did an audition for it, which is like it's not customary for that to happen. It's like normally I would audition for things. So it's either a casting director was a fan of mine because of my videos, or someone associated with the project was a fan. I still don't know fully what happened, but I'm just really grateful that an opportunity like that could come my way. And, you know, it's like I'm in the movie. It's a good role. I'm in the movie for maybe 5 minutes, but it's such a big movie that it's, you know, brought a lot of attention my way, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm just really grateful. And so having like a role like that, I and other actors I know can see what has gone into getting something like that. You know, like you could see it
Yeah.
on the screen and just be like, wait, that was so quick. But I really look at it as like all the years I put in doing like the hundreds, thousands of auditions, all that stuff to really like to get something so cool has just been truly like a dream come true. Like truly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. So
Because
you
this is
had,
my dream. Like this is my
yeah,
dream.
yeah, yeah. And it's
And
it's it's
it's not
real.
it's not everybody's dream, but like and I think the part I'm leaving out is like it's I when you say it in hindsight, it sounds so easy or like some like but it hasn't it's not been like it has been a challenging road, but it's been so worth it because I've just been able to do so much stuff along the way, so much creative stuff.
Yeah.
And I just really encourage people to like double down on yourself and double down on the creative energy that you have flowing through you and see what it brings your way because and also like get a great therapist and like learn how to meditate and like journal 4 hours a day and like, there's so many things that you have to do. And
Yeah.
by the way, what I was actually trying to say is like I have a lot of I have a lot of self doubt and I have a lot of um, trouble thinking that I'm worthy and I have trouble believing in myself sometimes. And I do, but I also part of the work is the work to believe in myself and to be confident and to all that stuff takes work as well. You know, it's not just making the videos. It's putting in the work to believe in yourself. And I think once I started taking myself seriously as a creative, I remember specifically that was like the goal. I was like, I want to take myself seriously at this, at being a clown, you
Mm.
know,
Yeah, but
like,
that's, yeah.
so taking myself seriously and then really doing the work of figuring out where how I can feel worthy and how I can feel deserving of good things. It wasn't really until I started making those changes that I actually was able to see good things come my way.
This is such an important conversation because I think so many of us don't believe, and in fact this is kind of what I started talking about with you in the very beginning of this conversation, which is, you know, me looking at other people thinking like it's so cool that you're not in your own way. But in fact, I'm coming to you as someone that I look at as not in their own way, but you're telling me, this is not natural for me. I'm just not automatically completely backing every single thing that I do. Like, it's taken work, and the natural response in me has been a lack of self-belief and all of these normal things that we all experience as humans. And
Yeah.
you've been able to actually work on it and push through all of that to then find yourself at a place where you can really access and believe in yourself in a way that is now paying off. And I think so many of us get stuck right before that. It's like you've got a little calling of whatever it is in whatever industry you're in, but you don't believe in yourself to go for that promotion or to apply for that other job or to change industries. And, for so many of us, we don't have one career anymore. People are studying something at university or college and then working in one thing and changing to something else. And like, that's celebrated and great and amazing. But you've got to also believe in yourself to take those leaps in your life, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And, I love that you said it doesn't come without challenge.
Yeah. But, and I also just think that like, I don't, I think that what I've learned is I can and have like I've had some dark days and I've been like truly depressed and like all those sorts of things. And there is like there's light at the end of the tunnel and there's hope for things because like there's things you can do like journaling that really really help you change your opinion of yourself. And I was kind of started out in a place of like, can they though? Like, is that true? Like, honestly, not really believing that that was like possible. And then just again, but like, I commit to things. Like, if I say, when I started meditating, I was like, I'm going to meditate. And I meditate every day, twice a day. like, like, that's not everyone can do that. I don't know why. I don't know
Yeah.
why I can, but
Yeah.
like journaling, I was like, I'm going to start journaling, and every morning I journal, and every day it's a reset of like, you're worthy, you can do this, you, why not you?
Yes.
Like truly.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
like, and that doesn't come natural for me. It's like I have to remind myself of that often.
Yeah.
And
And
I think I do it easy. Like whatever the voice in your head is saying that is telling you you can't, that's telling you you're too old. If you have a voice in your head telling you that you're too old or you're not good looking enough or it's too hard or whatever, literally pick one of those things and say the opposite to yourself over and over and over again
yeah.
until you don't believe it anymore. And like I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, but
No, this is good.
that's what I do,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, this is brilliant. And I am a big fan of journaling and I encourage people to do that all the time. But I love how you are breaking this down. So when people think about journaling, they're thinking like, Dear diary, today I'm feeling shit. That's not it. It's
Right.
actually, like you're saying, choosing an intention and a prompt and
Yeah, and
turning it into a
also
practice.
yeah, and like also when I started journaling, the amount of times I still do it, I'm like, how to journal? Like it's almost like every
Chat
day.
GPT.
Yeah, like
Can
I
you
have to
journal for me?
journal for me about
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
but like you have to remind, like I just remind you have to relearn stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how to journal, but I'm gonna do the shittiest version of it until
Yeah.
I find what works for me. And I think that's how I approach a lot of things. Like I don't know how to make content, but I'm gonna make the shittiest version of it until I get good at it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's okay if it's bad. Like it's like
Yeah.
that is I feel like I don't get embarrassed easy. And I think that that's lucky.
Mm.
Like if and that's probably not true. I do get embarrassed lucky, but I easily, but like I don't know. I can put myself out there and suffer the consequence. Like I
Yeah.
can, like I can take what comes my way from putting
Yeah.
myself out there.
Yeah, the embarrassment doesn't stop you from having a go. It
Yeah.
can be there and you're like, "Oh well, whatever. I'm going to do it
Yeah.
anyway."
Yeah.
Whereas that's not easy for everybody.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's that other thing, especially with content. Um, People talk about like cringe, like cringe
Yeah.
level. And a lot of people prevent themselves from posting content because they're like, it's cringy, or people
Mm.
are going to think it's cringy. And what there's this idea of like everything you want is on the other side of cringe. Like
Mm.
everything you want
Yes.
is on the other side of that part of you that's like, I shouldn't do this. This is dumb. This isn't meant for me.
Yeah.
Like it's all right there. And I just encourage people to just go. It's right there. It's like one step away. It's on the other side
Yes.
of cringe. Just like go for it.
Yes. Send that email, connect, ask somebody the question, do the thing.
Yeah, be okay with being told no. It's like no, if you ask someone you respect for help, or like that sort of thing, or like can I pick your brain or whatever, the worst they can do is say no. And it's like no's just one, no is just a one more, it's just closer to a yes. I don't know, you can like always
Yes.
think of like those sorts of things.
Yeah. Yep. And that kind of rejection is protection, and what is meant for you will come for you, but you have to open yourself up to it. And we can
Yeah.
all sit here in our homes and wish for things, but unless we're taking chances in whatever direction that is and whatever that looks like in your own life, like nothing will happen.
Yeah. And you have to be uncomfortable to get what you want. There's gonna be some discomfort there.
Yeah.
But it's like the opportunity. It's just like what I really journal about now is just like, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for opportunity. Thank you for opportunity. May it continue to find me. May
Yeah.
opportunities pop up. May opportunities be around the corner. Just like, and that's for like that's what I'm looking for, is opportunity. And that opportunity does not mean like 100% you're going to get what you want or whatever. It's just opportunities to get what you want.
Yes. And you're right. It's like the laws of manifestation. If you explicitly say, I want this thing, you're actually limiting yourself and you
Mm.
could be missing out on greater opportunities. So I love that that's your mantra, if you
Yeah.
will, in the
Yeah.
mornings. Like, I'm open, bring me opportunities. You're not saying, I want a big role in a movie, because there could be something like so much more coming for you that you're then
Right.
closing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that you, to do kind of like crazy things, you have to be a little like woo woo in a way. And
Yeah.
you have to get to a place where you can believe like the impossible can happen to you.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
and also it's like, what's the alternative? Like,
Yeah.
there was a long time where I didn't think that was going to be in like the number one movie in the world. Just even that example, I'm like, that was not even something available to me like
Mm.
a couple years ago. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, why not? Why couldn't that happen?
Yeah.
And because the truth of the matter is, that opportunity, it wasn't this big thing. It was literally just like this. It was so simple and small, like that. How, you know what I mean? Like the yes
Mm-hmm.
of that. Like,
Yeah.
sure, there were a lot of things that went into something like that happening, like me moving to, like, you can go all the way back to
Yeah.
like me
The
being born.
yes to the to you being born. Yeah. You were born and
I
now who
was
you
born,
are.
I got laid off, and then I moved to LA, and then I started
Yeah.
making content, and then,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, but literally, it's like the actual feeling of like getting this call, and then that was something that was so one step away from me. It was
Yeah.
literally just someone calling me and saying like, "What about this guy?" It
Yeah.
wasn't it wasn't this like, I have to be a good person to get this, or I have to be a certain type of person to get this, or I
Yeah.
have to, have come from a certain place. It was just this one little like it's just one step away. And I
Yeah.
say this in hindsight because I'm currently kind of like on a high because I have a lot of good things coming my way.
Yeah.
Who knows where I'll be in like a few weeks?
We'll interview you then and we'll see if
That's
if the high
that's
remains.
that's just like the truth of it. Like it's not
Yeah.
always I
Yeah.
you're not always like everything's great.
No, and this is the stuff of life, right? You know, you got to have the sweet and the sour, and you got to have the highs and the lows, and you've had the lows, which is why you can appreciate these highs the way
Yeah.
that you are right now, and how amazing, and you're not being um, ridiculous about it. Where you're like, this is it now, I've made it, and I'm just going to sit back, and the offers are all going to roll on in, and I'm
Right.
done. Now I've done my work. Like, I'm sure you still have a full week of content that you
Yeah.
have to shoot and do and connect and like brainstorm and meet people and do things, and you're not you're not ever done with the work.
Right. And that yeah, that's the I feel like a lot of people in this business specifically think that once you get to a certain place that it's going to be easier or whatever. And what I've found is the more kind of success or opportunities that come your way, it gets harder. There's more to deal with. There's
Mm.
more at stake. There's less time to do stuff. So you just have to keep in that flow of things and allow yourself to just like exactly like okay, I took maybe a week to be like this is amazing, I'm in this cool movie, I went to
Yeah.
the premiere, I got a stylist, I took some photos, that was fun. And this week I'm like okay, who are these directors I've always wanted to meet and like work with, who are like what am I going to post on my social accounts tomorrow? It's not I
Yeah.
don't think it's I'm back to like
Yeah.
the stuff that I love to do.
Yeah. And you're still Clayton from before the movie came out,
For
you know?
sure.
Yeah. Still doing
Yeah.
all the same things, all the same work, all the same intention.
Yeah, and I can't put too much whatever into something like that because that goes away. Like
Yeah.
in a couple weeks, people are going to be talking about a different movie. Like I can't roll off that validation forever.
I mean, some people do.
I got to seek other validation.
Yeah. That's it. So, okay. So, do you want to put something out there? The dream, what would be the dream project for you?
I mean, the you were kind of talking about manifesting and
Yeah.
how like the way that I'm approaching kind of like trying to like call in something interesting is really about the character. Like I'm focused on what type of like role I want to play
Mm,
and what type of energy I want that character to be and how
yeah.
I want the audience to react to it. So I really want to be in like what I'm calling like a prestige dramedy
Yes.
where I get to play like a complicated character that feels authentic to me, that audiences really like really relate to and care for. Like that's really like
Mm,
that's kind of how specific I'm trying to be right now because
great.
that's kind of what I'm like wanting to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know we shouldn't like compare people, but I feel a little bit like, Brian Jordan Alvarez has kind of like he's got a bit of that going on where he was doing these online content, now he's got this show, and
Yeah.
it feels like it's true to just him playing the character, or at least and creating something with interesting characters that are meaningful to him. And
Yeah.
I love that idea for you, just being able to tap into all of those talents that you have creatively and as a performer, so that it's
Yeah.
not just like walking into a pre-written role like, okay, Clayton, if you can just act this from the page, like
Yeah.
something where you can, bring
Well,
it
and
to life.
I think that that's important to me too for this role that I'm trying to manifest
Yeah.
is like the collaboration and is like
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Um,
Yeah.
and then of course, like I mean, we're currently working on turning the rich couple into a bigger kind of like certain a type. Like we're still figuring that out, but it's like we are putting energy into making the rich couple like a series,
Oh
basically.
my God. This is
So
music to my ears. This is this a scoop? Have you announced that anywhere?
I mean, I haven't really, I guess. We haven't really talked about it, but it's like we're currently in but again, we're doing that in a very self-created, self-funded sort of way, in a way where like let's make the exact thing that we want to make,
Yes.
then show that to people and take that out, as opposed to being like, let's make a bunch of treatments and like let's write a script and
Yeah.
like that sort of thing. We're kind of just doing it backwards. Like, let's take some of the resources we've gotten by being able to do these characters, because luckily they've been able to provide us with brand deals and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So we're like, let's reinvest some of that money into making something really cool with these characters that we love.
Oh my
And
God.
so we're trying to do something like that.
This is
And
so exciting.
I know, and like I'm so excited about like the person that we found to play Sebastian, the kid.
Oh, is he going to be real? Oh my God. Oh my God.
I know. I'm like, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see this world come to life,
Wow.
because
Wow.
we it started. We probably have to go soon, but I will just tell you like the way that the rich couple started, because that's definitely like the most thing that I'm known for, is like the rich couple.
Yes.
That's like the thing.
Yeah.
And the way that it started, I have a notes app on my phone that just kind of like has the ideas that we're talking about earlier that are just running through my head. I'll write things down. Like right now, I want to do like that old Hollywood makeup artist that's been around forever. Like that's my
Oh,
next video.
brilliant. Yes.
Because I was just on a movie and there's like this guy that like you can't tell if he's gay or straight. He's been around forever.
Yes.
Talking about like all the old divas of Hollywood, and like
Oh my God, amazing.
you're like, I love this person.
Yes.
But so I write these ideas down, these notes down. And one of the notes I had for so long was just like, it literally just said rich people talking about the house.
Mm.
And
Come to the house.
it's just the fact that what I noticed in people that have a lot of money is they call, when they invite you over to their like estate or their property, they call it like the house. And it's just a very specific thing that stood out in my head. And that one little thought is what kind of spawned the rich couple to what it is.
Yeah.
And again, it's like that was so unique because Aliki and I had already made the healers,
Mm-hmm.
which was this like hippie crystal couple, which
Yeah.
we both kind of relate to and we understand that. And I was like, I have this idea for this rich couple, and she didn't really like she doesn't know about like brands or anything like that, so it wasn't really like her thing. But I was like, I think we could do this together. Last minute, we decided to dress the same, and and I had written like these one-liners, which is how I normally work. And Aliki was like, let's just improvise it. And I was like, I can't do that. I have to know what I'm going to say. And so my point with even telling that story is just like the way that all this weird stuff comes together. You just going with the flow and letting it evolve. It became something cool that has
Yeah.
that like I'm not kidding, has like provided me so much, so
Yeah.
much.
But I mean, okay, the question is then, do you improvise? Have you been able to kind of let that happen, or do you still need to know
I
where
mean,
you're going?
no, I would say with those, we come in, they're probably 90% improvised.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we come in with like, I mean, a lot of the ones we did lately are just 100% improvised. Like
Okay.
it's kind of coming in with what is the concept here, like private schools, like talking about which school they're going to, or I knew we wanted to talk about like fundraising at your
Yeah.
private school, and so we come in with that idea and it kind of like develops into something bigger.
Yeah.
And luckily, like people reach out to us and they're like, hey, you should come shoot at my place, like come
Amazing.
come shoot at this amazing property that we have or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been doing with that so far, because we both have like apartments in LA. That's where
Yeah.
we live.
Yeah. Well, when you need the Australian cousin to
Yes,
zoom in, I'm ready.
you have the
Darling, I'm up here.
sweetie,
Sweetie, darling,
sweetie, come down.
darling. No, you come up.
I can't do stairs, sweetie.
But
I'm still sore from Peloton.
oh, darling, we stopped doing that last week.
Then what bike was I on?
I'm
then
gonna
what was
call
I?
Jerry. I'm
Then
calling
what was
Jerry.
Jerry?
Oh,
Fuck.
Jerry and the girl. Oh my God,
I can't
Clayton.
wait to see who plays Jerry.
Oh my God, Jerry and the girl. And is the girl
Girl.
just going to be like scurrying in the background?
Yes.
Oh my God. And the worker guys.
Harry and our charcuterie everywhere we go.
Yes. Yes. Oh
Well,
my
I'm so
God.
glad you like those videos. We posted a new one today, so please go watch.
I saw with the rose bushes and smell my bush. Smell the bush.
Smell the bushes, as
Smell
we
the
always.
bushes.
You know the old saying, smell the bush.
Yes. I mean, it's just all so good. It is just pure gold. And I just cannot wait to see this come to life. I can't wait.
Thank you. I'm
Oh,
excited.
you're amazing. Where can people find you? What's the best way to connect?
Just go to Instagram or TikTok. I'm at Clayton Farris. That's where I'm posting all the time. Go see Weapons. Weapons is in theaters right now. I'm in a cool movie coming out called Driver's Ed. I'm just gonna keep making dumb stuff for people.
It's not dumb. It is not dumb. It is amazing. It's funny. It's clever. It's
Yeah.
picking up on the nuances of life. And, I think that's why it connects with everybody. And you're doing an amazing job. So keep
Thank you.
it up.
Thank you.
Oh, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you, Clayton. Thank you so much
You
for your
too.
time today.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.